What is going on, all of you crazy nerds on the internet today? What's up? It's Josh here at Bonus Stage, and we are here celebrating a Let's Listen for our good friends over in Honolulu console. Tonight we are joined by Brian, Reese, Rika. How are the three of you doing in unison? Go.
Good.
Wow. I've like jokingly asked people to say like in unison, but you three nailed it like the first time. That was amazing.
Found it.
Oh man, band synergy right off the bat. Oh, that's great. Well, we have had console on bonus stage for our online concert series a few times now. Yeah, really love seeing you guys. You always kind of like have like some really good hits. But we are here tonight because it is the launch, well, the postponed launch of your of your debut album, Press Start. Well, I feel like we should press start on a little bit of history with the band here, since, of course, this is a debut. There's been a lot of build up to this moment. Yeah, I kind of want to pass it off to you. Discuss or decide who is going to kind of take the point on this, but I want to hear a little bit about the genesis, if you will, of console.
So you know the opening of Conan the Barbarian, and they have the "Before the time drank Atlantis." You know, there's the chronicler. That's me. I've been there since the beginning. So I'll tell us the story until Reese and Reka join the story, and then I probably have Reese take over from there. But the idea for console is from a long time ago. I'm a teenager playing like Final Fantasy. It was specifically the Final Fantasy boss theme from Final Fantasy VII that I was like, this is meant to be played by a band, you know. And at the time I was exploring guitar. I was really into like Metallica and Iron Maiden at the time, and I was like, this could really work. But just an idea, you know. And then through the years, I would kind of, in my metal bands, like we'd play like Legend of Zelda for like 1 minute in the middle of like a underground concert. And my bandmates were always kind of like, yeah, cool, whatever. But I was like, guys, we should do a video game band. And I went and saw Dragon Force, and this band called Power Glove opened up for Dragon Force. Yes. This was in 2008. And I was like, that's my idea. But I wasn't jealous or anything like that. I was like, that's exactly, and there's guys that did it. Oh my God. So I was just like, oh, kind of like my little small idea just kind of deflated a little bit, and whatever. I just kind of did it on the side. And at the time in like 2008, video game music played with like real musicians in a rock band was like not even a thing. Right. So anyway, I would, every now and then I'd put like a YouTube video up of myself playing like Guile's theme from Street Fighter or something. And one day in like 2017, I got a YouTube comment from some guy, and he's like, dude, we should jam. I live on Oahu. I play video game music too. And so I was like, for one, I even figured out how to see the comment on YouTube. It's kind of clunky. And I went, okay. So I got his information and I invited him over, and we played. And, you know, he passed the test of like, you're not a terrible guitarist. He was another guitarist too. His name's Cullen. Maybe he'll watch this show and be like, oh, I got a shout out. Yeah. But Cullen came over and I jammed with him. And then I said, okay, these are all my different interests. I like this kind of stuff, that kind of stuff, this kind of stuff. And I mentioned, I even have an idea of maybe doing a video game band. And he slept on it. He got back to me and he said, you know, he took a night and he was like, I want to do the video game music. And I went, okay. So now I have a partner, right? It's much easier to do an artistic project when you have somebody motivated to help you, and you're not just the only person. And you're like, come on, guys. And like, whatever.
Whatever. Great idea, Brian. Yeah, let's go back to playing metal. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of console 1.0, and that kind of started to get together in 2017, and I assembled a group, and who would end up becoming the recording engineer for the album that we're going to listen to. He was the original keyboard player. His name is Eric, and he's been on the Bonus Stage show back during the pandemic and all that stuff. And so, you know, we had a hard time finding solid musicians, whether it was because of career paths or just timing and things like that. And eventually, people moved away, and I the band was big, like had an assemblage of members, and then eventually it was just kind of me and Sean, the violin player, were like the only people left. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess if I don't have a drummer, I don't really have a band. So yeah, and so I would periodically put a Craigslist post like once a month. I put it like my monthly chore list. I'd go, oh, okay, pay rent, electric bill, put a Craigslist post up saying, join my video game band. And Reese eventually responded to that. And it was a very nicely written email. And
oh, thank you.
I checked out his video and I went, okay, he doesn't suck. So let's give him a shot. And so Reese joined, I think, 2022?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. And that was a good shot in the arm for me. Somebody else who shares a clear vision, I think, with where I see console going. So it's really nice to have that, at my side kind of a thing.
Oh, a little love in the band. Oh, sorry, we do this thing, right? That's what.
That's the new thing, yeah, whatever. So that's kind of like the long-winded version of how it all got started. It was a YouTube comment, and the river ran its course, and now you're currently here with the current iteration and all of that. And we started recording in 2019. And that was when we started tracking for the drums. And we've had like 4 drummers since then. And he's drummer number 5 kind of a thing. So it's been what it is, and it's kind of like dating, in a way. You kind of go through the numbers a little bit until you find what you're looking for the most part. I don't know. But yeah, so then Reese joins the band, and then we played at the anime convention here on Oahu called the Kawaii Con, which is like our biggest like nerd convention.
Right.
I think I forget the statistics, but before the pandemic, there would be like 55,000 people, 60,000 people, somewhere around there that would trickle in throughout the event. So it's like our big, it's the Super Bowl. And so that's actually happening at the end of the month as well. So we're gearing up for that. But that was his first gig, I think. He joined the band for he joined the band for like 2 months, and then we had that gig.
Oh,
and this also takes me to Lady Reika here to my right. Reika and I were working in a different band, and I told her, I go, hey, keyboard player Eric, the original keyboard player, he moved away, and Reese was responding to my ad, and I said, hey, Reika, you think you can learn like 3 songs for me so that I can audition the drummer? And she goes, oh, okay, I guess. So
little did she know that she was also being auditioned.
No, I mean, no way. I've been working with her for so long that I'm like, if you want the gig, you got it. You don't need to audition. So little did any of us know, I secretly was like, you're actually in the band already. You don't even know it, right? So,
nice.
And she ended up, I don't want to speak for her, but she ended up liking it, and she's still here. So
yeah,
must be having fun.
The trap.
A good trap.
But I really enjoy the music itself, so it's satisfying.
The music's satisfying. The performance is satisfying, I think. Yeah, it's true.
It's hard music to learn and to perform, and if you can do that, then yes, it is 100% fun. But if you can't do it, that's not fun. I don't know. It might be fun for you, but it won't be fun for the people that have to listen. Digging in a little bit more to Reese and Rika. Reese, I want to hear your side of that Craigslist ad. What shone out to you to be like, I could be in a video game band.
Well, actually, it was the second band Craigslist ad ever that I had answered an audition for. So it was really surreal for me. Previously, I was living in Japan, and I played in an international, like medieval folk band. I played the djembe, and I did play the drum set for a few songs. But it was like a a themed thing. We wore costumes and stuff. But of course, then COVID hit. Unfortunately, we had to disband, and then we moved here. And shortly after, I said, "Let's check out Craigslist again and see what's happening." You know, I don't. I'm not often on that website, but yeah, I found the console listing, and they said they were looking for a drummer. I'm like, What's this all about?" Start watching the videos, and I'm like, "Wow, these guys are good," and I love these songs. So I knew that I was going to audition. I didn't know if I was going to get in, but I knew that I would be at every show, regardless.
Yeah.
So like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And yeah, so we did the audition, and Reika was there. I remember Brian mentioning that Reika was kind of just helping out, and I was bummed out a little bit. I was like, "Oh, but she's so good."
Cute.
And then when I learned that she was going to stay, I was extremely happy.
Me too.
Nice.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. So from Ren fairs to video game conventions, all very nerdy. It just sounds like you found where you fit in. Brian Stewart in chat was asking what the name of that band
I was gonna say. So if you want to YouTube it, it's called. I'm throwing him under the bus. Peasants.
Oh, no.
Peasants.
Peasants?
Like type in
Oh,
peasants. Peasants.
Yeah. The Peasants Band.
The Peasants Band.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
it's pretty novel, honestly. Like when this was the video I checked out of his. He's like, "Oh, I've been in a few bands." He had a couple that were like audio, like professional recordings. I don't really judge people on that because like you can doctor it up. But I saw like a live video. I was like, "Oh, he's got good timing. What kind of band is this?" Like, and at this point it was like a train wreck. I not in a bad way. I was like, I have to watch it. I have to watch the end of it.
Can't,
I have to see
can't
this
look
through.
away.
Yeah, I can't look away. I'm committed.
Oh man! All right, cool. I've got some YouTube results here. I'm gonna check that out at a later time. Raika, maybe you could speak a little bit more. So you were previously, or maybe perhaps still continuing in another project with Brian. Yeah. So what took you from sure I'll help you play these 3 songs to your audition to yes I want to be a part of this?
It was I was raised as a classical pianist, and Eric did so many cool parts in the keyboard part, and I just fell in love with that part, and it feels so great. And as a classical pianist, you are so alone on the stage, but I get to play game music, which I love, and animes, and I love too, and in the kind of rock band stage, I was like, wow, yeah. But I was not sure I could do that before, because I was from more educational music therapy field I'm in.
Mm.
So I've been working with autistic kids, making music together. That's my work, but doesn't much. BGM and what music therapy, like classic? No, nothing's matching. But somehow it just find very fun to be part of this gang.
Yeah.
It's almost like mafia, but
Yeah, it's One Piece. You're on the boat with the One Piece. Yeah.
so that's my kind of top priority of my life. I don't know why I get that, but
It's fun. I think you
Yeah.
played in front of that big concert and you were like, "Oh my god, people actually like this." It's a lot more welcoming than just like the piano recital where people are there.
right.
Right.
Yep, you missed that note.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I hated that part. But people are having fun listening to us, and we are having fun too. So that's wonderful about it.
So Reika and I met through a mutual friend. This is more of like how we got together. A similar thing. Craigslist ad. This Japanese fellow. We're the Craigslist band. This Japanese fellow put up an ad saying, "Hey, I play saxophone. I'm trying to put a band together. I'm from Japan, but I've lived in New York for like the last 10 years, and now I want to try doing my thing here on Oahu." So I respond to his ad. His music, he's kind of harder to search for, so I can't really give you guys directions, but his music kind of sounds like a heavy like Kenny G. So it's like saxophone, but like not like you're getting your teeth worked on or like elevator music. It's a little bit more. That's a Wayne's World reference. It's a little more aggressive, which I was like, this is not typically my cup of tea, but like I like this. And so I applied as a guitar player, and then it was just me and him. So, you're seeing some parallels with some stories like, oh, one other person joins, and then from there it kind of takes life. And so I was working with this fellow, Shige is his name, and Shige was doing music lessons at a school, and we needed a keyboard player. And he begged Reika, hey, play keyboard in my Kenny G band. Like, all you have to do is just read the sheet music. You'll be fine, right? And that's how her and I met. And, after that, I pulled her into the karaoke band. So I have a live karaoke band here on Oahu. And, so that's how her and I got connected. And then I was like, okay, I know I've been in this band console since way before I knew you. And I know you might not be comfortable with this, but come on, just do the audition, please.
The trap.
That was a little too, yeah.
Oh. Man. Well, that is really fascinating and really endearing. It sounds like a fun origin story, and this has, been 7 years coming to this moment where we are now. And I know we're going to have a lot of other opportunities to talk during the show here tonight. So if the three of you are ready, I would like to put on your first 3 tracks on this album.
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we have a little tradition on this show. So we are going to listen to Chrono Trigger's Presentiment, leading directly into the main theme of Chrono Trigger, followed by Doom Castle. And I'm just going to throw this down and hope you're picking up what I'm throwing down. Let's
play. Go. Play? Let's play. Boom,
was
baby.
amazing. Hell yeah, strong start. I mean, obviously, Chrono Trigger, like that's as epic of a start as you can get with an album, and you guys did that very faithfully too. There was a little bit of trumpet on that first track, or sorry, not the first one, but the main theme of Chrono Trigger. And initially backstage, I was like, "Oh, is that a synth trumpet?" And you were like,
Right. So I was going to say we should do a little game with the audience. Was that a real trumpet or a fake trumpet?
Yeah.
So the answer is it was a real trumpet. When we were first recording it, it was synth brass, and when we first would rehearse it, was synth brass. And then one day Eric shows up with a trumpet, and I'm like, "What are you doing with that? That's not rock and roll. That is not heavy metal." And then he's like, "No, just watch." And then he literally is playing trumpet one-handed and playing keyboards one-handed. And when he first did it, it wasn't very flattering. Sorry, Eric. And I was like, dude, I don't know. But through, let's just say, the weeks, through the weeks, he got better at it. And then it sounded good live. And then by the time he started recording it, when he could commit 2 hands to playing trumpet and just focusing on a note, he peppered that in there. And I have to admit, I am glad he brought the trumpet now. So there you go. Feather in your cap, Eric. Heard it here first.
There you go. Yeah, Taladar says the dude sounded solid. It had me fooled because I was expecting it to be synth, but I was like, that actually sounds really good. That sounds better than most synth brass that I've heard before.
He might be like augmenting it with synth, but I know for a fact he is mainly playing a real trumpet single note, and so it's pretty cool. And when we did our release party, we ended up doing a live show, and Eric flew down from Alaska, and Sam, our old bass player, flew in from Maui, another island, and played guitar with me. And he ended up playing on his plastic sea trumpet that he flew over, and it was pretty novel, So yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Another thing that we discussed backstage was that the Chrono Trigger theme was the first song that you played and the first song that you recorded. And that kind of got us into a bit of a dialogue about like the timeline that you folks have spent putting this album together. It sounded like it was pretty lengthy. You want to just you don't have to say everything that you said backstage if you don't want to, but maybe just letting the audience know a little bit about what you've put into this.
Yeah, so we started laying down the drums in 2019 and then adding to the drums from there, like progressively. So drums first, and then sat on that for a little while, then added bass to the drums, bass guitar to the drums, and then sat on that for a little while, and then guitar player and keyboard player played the chord parts to the drums and bass. And then once we sat on that, we then played the melody parts, either lead guitar, lead synthesizer, trumpet, violin, to that. And once we kind of got all that period, we kind of had everything finalized, semi-finalized with the recordings, maybe about 2 years ago, I want to say, maybe even longer than that. At this point, that information doesn't really matter to my brain anymore. But if I had to go back, I could find out for certain. But we argued a lot in a good way about volumes of everything. So I hope for all of you listening out there, when you hear something go down in volume or up in volume, you better believe that was incredibly intentional. And that's even something we try to do live as well. We try to get out of each other's way when we're performing, but live versus recording are 2 different things. But that was the recording process, drums, bass, chords, melodies, and then arguing about EQ and volume for years. And mix version 192, mix version 192-2. Like, by the time I got to the end, I was just like, just finish it. I'm tired of listening to this.
Hold on. There's like a classic mix is perfect skeleton.
That's like mix is perfect version 9 or something.
Yeah, it's just like the dusty skeleton over the mixing board. Like, the mix was almost perfect. Oh man, but no, there's something to be said for a band that has those sensibilities to apply them in a live setting too. Even that is very mature of musicians to be able to do that and to have those sensibilities and not just like put that 100% on a producer or on a live sound engineer or something like that, right? Like, that, and especially when you're playing these kind of songs where like those, you've heard them that way already, and they're kind of like in your mind, you have an idea of what you're reaching for, and yeah, I commend you. I commend you greatly. Yeah, well, let's see. What do we want to dig into next? I think Taladar was saying in chat, and I 100% agree. We want to know who is responsible for this incredible album art. You've got a lot of beloved references in here. The style of it is gorgeous, and yeah, it's a hell of a debut, folks. This is amazing. Can you tell us a little bit more about this art?
I'm gonna have Reese telling you guys all about it, but first I'm gonna say this was another Battlefield too.
Oh gosh! I mean, it looks like it's not only depicting
so good
a battlefield.
I'm so glad you guys love it because it was a battlefield, and
awesome. Yeah.
So the overall concept is mine, but I wanted to find the right artist who could bring it to life, and I found this excellent artist named Ren Escar. He's out of the Philippines. He does amazing fantasy and video game character art as well. He seemed interested in the project from the start, and he seemed to get my concept, which was like really long and bloated and full of so many details.
If any of you guys want to know what Reese's initial pitch to this artist was, you can find me somewhere, anywhere, DM me, and I will find what he sent me to like look over. And I swear to God, I felt like I was reading like a avant-garde like graphic novel. It's like, and we have the pussy of the earth with the controller coming, and I'm like, oh, you can't say that. Can't say that.
it was more,
hey,
that's how I translated it.
It was
Guys,
more
I'm
heavy metal, right? So
If anybody here has their kids watching, we apologize, but I very much doubt it. Have fun describing to your children before bedtime what the pussy of the earth means.
Yeah, there was a birthing concept.
Okay, yeah.
That's what that's called.
Yeah, you've got the labia on either side there
Yeah,
in
right.
orange.
Oh,
And, anyway, sorry.
Now
Wow.
you ruined it.
Yeah, so you've got the controller is emerging. Yeah, you've got several people in the surgical theater here. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to take over your lovely story describing this. You can go on.
Well, there's just a whole mythology behind it.
it was awesome.
I don't know if it's all expressed in this art, but what we did get, we did have some back and forth. We had some revisions. We had some color changes, but I feel like the final product is really awesome, and I'm super stoked about it.
Good job finding that. Yeah.
Definitely. Even in and I've seen iterations of your logo before, but it feels like it is very cleanly and pristinely realized on this album art as well. You've typically used several letters from other game franchises and stuff in your logo, but this one it looks really neat and polished now. Just gorgeous to look at and gorgeous to listen to. If you don't mind, actually, maybe just like send me a message with that artist. I'd love to give them a little shout out here and link them for anybody in the chat who's curious to see more from them. Yeah, that's absolutely awesome.
He has an art station.
Okay, I'll find it when we cut to the next thing later on. I'll remember.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and speaking of, before we move on, I do want to say, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest. That was amazing. Oh man, you don't see a lot of Mystic Quest covers these days, and you guys did that really well. It kind of confused me because I was like, it says Doom Castle on the title. There's no context other than that, but I don't remember this. This sounds like some RPG stuff, and you had me tricked for a little bit.
So the track is from the stage Doom Castle, and for those of you who don't know Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, it was basically like Japan being like, this is Final Fantasy, this is fantasy for Americans that can't handle real Final Fantasy. So yeah, that's she. Rake is Japanese, and so she's like probably the first time she's hearing this. Yeah, they made a special Final Fantasy for America to like open the door so that they could get into other Final Fantasies. But that track specifically is like at the very end of the game, and that game is not fun to play. Like it is not
How many times do you think you see that gag? It's just like
yeah,
that's the whole joke.
Yes. But the other guitar player, Cullen, the guy who I formed the band with, he actually brought that song to the table. And I'm like, did you ever play that game? He goes, no, I just like the song. And I go, well, I played that game as a kid. And yeah, I remember the final stage. I don't remember the music of it, but I remember being like, yeah, it rocked. So the final stage, for any of you guys who are completionists and you have to see it yourself, go play the end all the way to the end. Doom Castle. Yeah.
Hey, what was the one for Game Boy? The Final Fantasy
Legends.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. I think I played Legends 2.
And it was more like Secret of Mana. That was the thing. I felt that. I was like, this is more like Secret of Mana. And then later on, you find out that it's the Seiken Densetsu thing. They just put Final Fantasy on it for the Americans.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Super Mario 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. I also just want to say that the Fire Volcano theme from Mystic Quest is another banger. If you're looking to add some more Mystic Quest to your catalog, definitely check that one out. You got some chin rubbing going on here. Great. That's what I want to see. Oh man. Well, next up we've got more rockin' tunes with the Metal Gear Solid theme, the Killer Instinct theme, and of course, very topical at the moment for those who fight further from Final Fantasy VII. If the three are you ready, then let's
listen.
Wow, incredible! Wow, we're hearing you all just really start to stretch your wings with these arrangements and with the solos that you're delivering on these tracks. It's beautiful. I noted backstage about you've got like your little flamenco breakdown there during Final Fantasy VII. The tones and like Killer Instinct and stuff are really good. I mean, it's clear that you've been drawn to a lot of these classic songs that mean a lot, not only to yourselves but to like a very broad audience. But you're still able to kind of like bring your own flavor and your own interest and your own influences into it. What's it like, in the rehearsal room or on the drafting table with putting these arrangements together?
Whew, I'm having a flashback to a panel that Reese and I put together. Uh, Gosh, okay, so it starts off a lot of times. In the past, myself, Cullen, and Eric would all bring one song to the table, right? And so we would empower each other to take leadership of whatever particular song. So in that last batch, my song was Killer Instinct. Cullen's song was For Those Who Fight Further, the Final Fantasy VII song. And what was the other tune?
We had the Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, so Metal Gear Solid just happens to be another one of my tunes as well. And so whenever I can only kind of speak for myself why I choose what songs. First, I just go, when I played this game at the time, did I just think that this was a really good piece of music? That's like the first checkbox. And then checkbox number 2 is like, I go, will this translate really well in my imagination, realized through a rock band? And if that checks the second box, I go, okay, this is a candidate tune. Because there's a ton. I mean, at this point, the term video game music is just as broad as saying movie soundtrack. Like, does that mean it's a synthesizer, or do you mean it's like a orchestrated kind of thing? Yeah. So it's very broad, and I think in that broadness, it's really important for anybody trying to, strike a course, is to have kind of like a clear, identity in a way. So just trying to realize it through a rock band. Anyway, so the first step is learning the important parts, and then showing that to the band, and then playing around. I like playing around with it in the band and rehearsing. And then sometimes what ends up happening is somebody goes, "Hey, wait a minute. Let's make this twice as long and make that twice as short and see how that goes." And we try and oh yeah, that sounds cool. Hey, wait a minute. What if we did flamenco? Like, what? How do we do that? For the recording. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. So it's kind of fun, right? And there have been a few failed inventions along the way, like some songs that we've tried that just didn't really work out too well. And some of the songs that ended up being on the record were very close to being cut because we couldn't figure out, like, to me, the mission statement is take the video game music and elevate it. If you're just doing it again, who cares? Like, really, it's like being a chef. Like, you can make spaghetti and meatballs, but then you can make a really good spaghetti and meatballs. And you have to kind of think about it in a different way. I don't know. Maybe that analogy works for some people, but so we rehearse it, and then the final test is actually playing it live. And then you can be like, dude, this song's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be so good. And then you play it 5 times in front of different people and like different audiences, and they're all just kind of like, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, to your defense, like, that is, I don't know, like, I've also like performed VGM for like years, and like that is a very typical response.
I mean, that's the default. I agree, that's the default. But like certain songs, like people like they'll start going like, yeah, I like that. As we go further through the set, I guess I'll kind of just speak on this. So like later on, we have the song Fendrana, which is just like totally not like, if you listen to the Final Fantasy VII song that we just performed or whatever, that thing is like, I could see people swing dancing to that if they really wanted to,
or
like
tango or something.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. But the song Fendrana, that's my favorite song on the record at this current moment.
And that's not a song that you would see your audience going. You would see your audience do this. And that's not a bad, like, that's not a bad thing, right?
I've seen that a lot, actually.
Yeah.
We're having a good time, you know, whatever. So it's tough. Like, and at the end of the day, you know, this is all very self-serving. Like, I tell this to everybody. I go, I'm doing this because I want to do this, and I'm putting these songs together. Kind of like what Reese said earlier, where he's like, dude, if I don't get the audition, I'm going to every single one of these shows. Because same thing, if I saw a band like this, I'd be like, anytime I'm free Friday, Saturday night, and these guys are playing, I'm there. Like, I'm there. I don't even care if it's the same songs. I love this, right? So it's ultimately self-serving. But yeah, we just get a harebrained idea to do a song, and then we try it out. And, you know, I try to be very strategic on making sure that whatever we commission is already a good idea, right? Because I hate wasting the time and resources to developing it, because I've been there a time or two where we get so far and then it's like, we're not going to do it anyway. I'm like, all the time, right? But at the same time, there's no way of truly knowing until you play it in front of live audiences. This is everybody in production. That's the fatal flaw. Like, movies are the same way too. You don't really know until you put it in front of audiences, and then you know, right? So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and to that, like, you know, you Console as a group has been in front of audiences for quite a while, and I'm sure you've played plenty more music than is currently on this record. What was it like to kind of whittle down your catalog to these 15 tracks and decide this is what we're going to put out?
Well, it came from a pretty logical decision. It's literally not the order that the songs are in, but these first 15 are the first 15 songs we ever did.
So it's just a matter of chronology.
Matter of chronology, right? So yeah, the oldest song on the record is Chrono Trigger. That was the very first song I brought, as well as Dr. Wily and Those Who Fight Further. Those are the three oldest songs. And then the youngest song is Fendrana. That is the most in that recording, in this record. But we have a handful more that we haven't gotten around to doing the recording process. So that's a big hint. We'll have those songs coming. Maybe not in 7 years, maybe in like a year or two. I don't know, no promises, but they will be on the pipeline eventually.
May I offer a hint?
For what?
These songs.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Because a couple of them actually come from the survival horror genre.
Ooh. All right. Good drop. Good leak. Yeah, you heard it here first, folks.
Some of them
That's
are
right.
pretty deep cuts. Some of them are typical, you know, just the same thing, you know, console round 2, just like a sequel, right?
Well, I heard someone say once that the first cut is the deepest. All right. Speaking of the first cut, shall we continue with this first cut of your jib? Sorry, that segue was completely clumsy. But you've been talking about Fendrana for a while. Our next listening block, we've got Green Hill Zone, classic, Metroid Prime theme, and then into Fendrana.
So before we get started, I just want to point out in Green Hill Zone was one of the songs that was almost not going to make it. It was almost going to get nixed because we couldn't figure out a way to elevate it. So about midway through the song, we introduced a fun little idea that's, you know, paying homage to being in Hawaii. And that, to me, made it from being one of the last songs on the roster to, like, I think one of the better songs, I think. Yeah. So anyway, that's one example of that.
Well, we will listen for that. So let's
listen.
Yeah, I'm with Taladar. Give us the hour-long extended version. You know, like you get the soundtrack uploads to YouTube, and it's like 10 hours. Give us that for Fendrana, please.
We're gonna dethrone 10 hours of underwater Donkey Kong. I don't know. What's that underground or Thistle Brush Symphony? That's very flattering. Thank you.
Absolutely. I also just want to say, like, there's some incredible production value in this. You know, like it's very apparent that that whoever did the sound mixing and engineering of this gave it a lot of love and just helped everything shine through. Would you like to shout out anybody on that incredible job?
I want to shout out Eric for this.
I mean, it's 99.9% Eric.
Well,
for
I mean,
this one, yeah.
specifically since I did track drums for this one.
I was gonna say I'm gonna shout out this one for Reese. You know, this is the one that he's on. That's actually Reese.
But I was blown away with the first version I heard with my drums, because I immediately could tell that he had picked. We tried a few things in each take, and he picked the favorites that we had listened to after. And I never talked to him about
Yeah,
it.
without any
Right.
guidance, Eric selected his most favorite takes.
Yeah. So it's like,
We're
he got
talking
that
like
fill.
section to section. Yeah. So I think we did at least 3 different runs of it, but I want to say we probably did like 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah, that's my general rule, is to do at least 5 takes of everything and make a composite out of it. And Eric, without any guidance, selected Reese's favorite attempts.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. He's got a really good sense of just, we're very much aligned, which is very nice to work with somebody who's mixing, that
Right.
you don't have to explain like, oh, I want this not time aligned, or oh, I want this auto-tune but not too much. Like, everybody kind of has their own fingerprint when it comes to mixing and stuff. And with Eric, I had to do very little like none actually. Because I come from like that rock and roll background where I don't really want everything time aligned and I don't really want everything tuned. First of all, you should, no offense everybody, but you should be able to play your instruments well enough and record it well enough to where you don't need to use that. But that's just my hot take.
I mean, when you're there in the studio and it's crunch time, your values don't always align with your performance, and so sometimes you do have to fall back on some of those production tricks and stuff like that. But yeah, generally it's great to be able to deliver a good take at least, right?
Yeah, so there's a lot of natural flavor in the mix, I think, and yeah, that track, Fendrana, I didn't even know that song existed. Eric brought it to the table, and he told me, Brian, all right, you're gonna wear your Pink Floyd hat, and you're on the spaceship in space. I'm like, okay, I'll be there. Yeah.
And I was just walking down the street and I see this rope drop and I look up and they're on the spaceship like, hey, come up here.
Come up here, record drums.
Yeah,
We got
record
great
drums.
acoustics up here.
And then you got beamed up.
I did,
Oh,
which has
man.
been my dream.
Yeah, that's why you got
Beam me up.
Is that why you have the alien socks?
Yeah, I got alien socks.
Oh, nice. Wow, that is was that planned? Is this a bit?
It's not.
Okay.
No. Just
Oh, man.
my mood today.
The alien is the mood. That's the vibe. All right. Metroid Prime, everybody. Oh my god. Well, so Reese, that was one track that you got to perform on. Obviously, we know that this album is like kind of a slow building process. You guys had lots of stuff done around 2019, coming into now. But well, you said you finished up like about 2 years ago in terms of recording and all of that, right?
So the song wasn't going to be on the record. Actually, no, it was, but we had completely fake drums on it.
Yeah.
Completely fake drums, because it was such a young song for us. And we were about to we were gearing up to release it with fake drums. Like, the fake drums sounded really good, but yeah, then we had Reese and we're like, nah, let's get Reese recorded.
Let's throw the rope down to him and get him on the spaceship.
Beam me up. Yeah.
Nice. And Rika, you're here, obviously as a member of a band, but we haven't heard any of your performances yet, have we?
Not yet. I'm not totally in that album.
Not at
Only
all.
on the stage.
Only on the stage. Well, the stage
Only
is,
the-
that's the place to be, honestly. The stage is the place to be. Yeah, but oh man. Well, like I'm curious now. That kind of like brings us naturally into something that I was curious about because I haven't been to Hawaii. I want to know like what is the scene like over there for you as like a video game band? Like, are there like bands that you get to play with? Obviously, you've got your big convention that you get to go to every year, but like outside of that, kind of like what is your scene and where do you fit in there?
What do you mean by that? Like, other than
Are there-
this,
Okay, so like compared to New York, like how's the music scene in New York?
comparing to Hawaii, Honolulu.
Yeah, how
I
is
think,
Hawaii?
yeah, I'm from New York too, so we had big upper convention and we have huge conventions there. So people's passion toward this genre is so different.
Hmm.
I can imagine we playing in acoustically in New York City subway. People will be like, "Wow!"
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe not, but
Right.
I've seen so many people are
Yeah.
into that genre comparing to this geographical location.
Yeah, I would say pretty confidently that we're the only video game rock band in Hawaii. Now, there are some video game symphonies,
Yeah,
so to speak.
But those
Yeah,
are
so-
usually like a touring act or like a conductor shows up and they kind of like get the local orchestra and commission them for a show kind of thing, right? It's not like here's 50 people that just got off a plane with their classical instruments and they're going to blow your minds.
Yeah, so as far as like VGM music scene in Hawaii, it is, as far as my knowledge, it's not very robust at all. And just the music scene in general, outside of the genre of reggae, it's also not very robust either. But even within reggae, it's still not that robust. Like all of these things. I have theories as for why that is, but if I compare it to my time, I lived in Seattle in my 20s when I was, doing my self-made internship of how to become a rock star. I decided to live in Seattle and try to do my thing there. And I think the biggest thing that's different about Hawaii versus other places is we don't get a lot of touring acts, just in general. Let alone video game music, but just in general. I was just recently in New Zealand for a vacation, and on the radio and here and there, you'd see like, Pink is playing in Auckland and Christchurch, and then tomorrow we have Switchfoot, and then tomorrow we have Metallica. Like New Zealand gets acts as a Polynesian place, but they have more of a culture that supports that kind of a thing. Like there's not like a hippie concert vibe too much here in Hawaii. Like there's not really a Grateful Dead kind of thing. And I think the Grateful Dead energy is very important for like, touring artists and things like that. So we just get flown over. People go to Australia every now and then. Small groups will stop over to and from Japan or Australia and whatever. And we're always very thankful for that. For example, the Midwest band Rise Against was here on Thursday, so that was pretty cool. But and a lot of the groups here are like all gunning to like open for those bands, right? So I know it's long-winded, but I really want to try and be thorough with this answer. But yeah, it's I think because of not having that, there's just not a lot of attention brought there. As far as VGM is concerned, you're totally right. Every now and then there'll be like Legend of Zelda Symphony, and they'll fly over the conductor and hire the symphony. Now, I was not aware of the one community orchestra band here called Hitbox, so shout out to Hitbox.
Oh, sweet.
I saw an ad looking for a video game guitar player, and I was like, what? This is already, I had console together for a couple years at this point. I go, how do I not know this exists? And so I auditioned, and lo and behold, this community orchestra has been around for 4 years or so, and just there's not a lot of awareness for it, and so anyway, it doesn't really exist much, which is why we are planning on we're saving up money to afford airfare to fly to the mainland, and we will be playing at MagWest in September. So we'll see you there.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's where I was going with all of this questioning. Was really excited to see you guys.
I
over here on
eventually
the
get
mainland.
there. I eventually get there.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah. Brian Stewart's excited. Everybody should be excited. That's really exciting. Excitement. Yeah, I don't know where to go from there. You guys want to listen to some more music?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh god, the Colossus roar. Magfest emote. Brian Stewart. Oh my god. Okay, well we've got 3 more songs to play in a row here. Coming up, we've got Run Full Speed Ahead. What's that from? What song?
Final Fantasy 13 Part 2.
Oh wow. Okay, I fell off.
I never played it. Yeah, you're forgiven.
Run Full Speed Ahead from Final Fantasy 13-2. That's a real number. The Zelda main theme, and then of course a classic, Dr. Wily. Folks, let's
Listen.
Hot dang! I mean, you hear Dr. Wiley a lot in the VGM scene, but really good job on the production and the solos and everything on that. It was really well done.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Good job.
Yeah, and of course the Zelda's main theme. I hadn't heard the Final Fantasy 13 2 track before. That one was really cool, actually. Who decided to bring that one in?
So the other guitar player, Cullen, he brought that into the band, and that's got a fun story. I think I'll talk about it briefly, as brief as I am. um, he brought it, but he taught it to himself from memory at work without referencing the track. So he was like remembering how it went and like figured out the melody. It ended up being a little wrong, but we ended up learning it that way, and that became our version. So our structure is a little different compared to the original, which is kind of an interesting thing. And originally it was going to be pretty much all guitars, like no violin. At the time we didn't have a violin player, and it was going to be me playing rhythm guitar behind him doing basically all the violin solos and stuff. And as fate would have it, Cullen had to move away for work or whatever, and at the same time we had our violin player Sean like say, hey, give me a shot. And we're like, okay, well, we've just learned this song that is actually a violin song. Let's have you, that'll be your song. And he was coming at it more as like a feature. He just wanted to play one song with us, and I was like, great, that one will be the song, and then we'll have an encore song as well, and then okay. So
Bing Bang Done.
Yeah, Bing Bang Done. And so it kind of morphed into this, what you heard there. I never played the game, so I had no idea what it was, and I didn't really do any research on it because Cullen was like, no, let's do it this way. I want to do it this way, like really rock kind of. So, okay. So then we play it, and then I eventually got curious, and I looked up the original soundtrack version of it, and I was like, oh, this sounds like almost, it's about as close as a cover that we do. It's like almost the same thing. It's just we're doing it. And this is one of the points I want to make about a lot of the songs we're selecting, and probably a lot of the reasons why other bands select these kinds of songs. It's from a certain era, right? Modern video game music is already pretty fleshed out. You can't really do much with it, but these like archaic tunes from like the 80s, 90s, and 2000s, they're kind of more primitive and just like begging to be selected and acted upon. So that was Run. It was the violin thing, and then Legend of Zelda. We had to do Legend of Zelda. Yeah. And then Dr. Wily. Yeah, Mega Man 2.
Classic, man. Hanging out with Proton Som.
Proto Man Sam.
Thank you. Wow. I was
chilling at Proto Man Sam's, right?
There we go. There's the plug. All right.
Yeah.
It's in chat.
That's our silly pandemic Twitch show. Where people thought we were all in different places in the world, but we were all just in the same room.
You just had the multicam setup. Yeah. Oh man, I love that.
We were trying to be like, GoldenEye 007, where we're just same screen, but different screens.
Little split screen. Yeah. Why not? Hold on, no, I'm paused. You can't shoot me. I'm paused. Oh my god. Yeah, do you folks plan on doing much more of those? I mean, you had your launch show for this album not too long ago. But like, is that something that you want to maintain?
We've talked about it.
We've definitely talked about it. Maintain, it's tough to say. Like, we lost the resource of being able to go over to Sam's house to do Chilling at Proto Man Sam's because they moved away. Right. And I don't really have the equipment to do it here at my place. We're at my place right now. And then we have done one of the shows with you over at Reese's house. But as far as like a sustainable, like frequent thing, it just doesn't seem to be working out for us at this moment. I feel like all of us would want to do it regularly. It's just a matter of time, energy, resources, right, scheduling, and all that stuff. So we're definitely interested. It's just not really high priority, especially now that we can play actual shows, like that personally, it's more enticing for me.
Absolutely.
But
Having a real audience in front of you that reacts in real time.
yeah.
No offense to chat. You guys are cool, but
No, chat's fun too. And it's great to me. This is fun to go back and watch too later on. Like this is, I think, a better platform.
Mhm.
Yeah.
We did do some streaming for our acoustic setup.
Yeah. So yeah, acoustic stuff. That's right.
Yeah. You have a little bit more flamenco in that set?
Well, we do now.
I feel like the whole thing is flamenco. But yeah, so we've been flirting with like playing acoustically, like a lot of the songs, and this just kind of came out of like an idea to go busking or whatever. And I have like a small little passion in playing acoustic guitar, and yeah, so that might be something that we explore. It's much easier to do an acoustic show than a full rock band show like online and stuff. You just set up the mic and you're pretty much good. But you know, miking the drums and the bass and the guitar, and it's like it's a lot of work, guys.
Yeah. The best example I've seen of that is Masters of Unlocking. You know, they've kind of upgraded their set, their equipment since, but like the first couple of shows they did, I mean, they're just two guitar players with backing tracks, but everything was just pushed through two PA speakers in their living room, and it was just like all captured just on a phone. The phone just had the Twitch app, and you just go live with your phone, and there it is. They've framed it nicely, you know, like they've got the sound in the room is great, so that's all the phone needs to pick up. But you know, that would definitely work a lot easier with an acoustic set. But if I'm sparking ideas in your imagination, then you know I've done my job.
The key though is making it as like streamlined as possible, right? Because then if there's less resistance to the final, you know, execution, you're more likely to do it. We just haven't found a streamlined thing. When we were doing it over at Sam's, he had everything already. We just showed up and plugged in. It was pretty straightforward.
And we do think that the time zone kind of works against us as well. We've done dual streams with Western audiences and also the Asian audiences, and we've had sometimes more of a Japanese or Asian audience tune in than the West.
That is interesting. Yeah. You guys are 2 hours behind my time here in the Pacific and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maybe if you're willing to put on a set for breakfast, you can catch the East Coast. You know,
that's true. You know, it's all different options, and it's like, you know, we only have so much time, and it's like, yeah, we'd love to. Just whatever fits. Yeah.
All the more reason for everybody to come out to Mag West to see you guys, right? There we go. Yeah, if you want your console, the VGM band, in the same time zone, you got to be there.
In the flesh,
in the time zone. Oh man, geographically speaking. Oh man. Well, it's sad to think that we're starting to wind down. We've only got one more listening block for tonight, but before we get to that, I do want to make sure that I drop the link in chat here for your DistroKid link. Effectively, it's got links to every conceivable streaming platform that you might listen to this album on. They've also got SoundCloud there, but you also have some printed CDs, and that's kind of a local thing. You want to show that off really quickly?
Yeah, I think the camera might be reversed, but yeah,
nope,
here it is.
Good here, good on this side. Oh, beautiful.
So it's still got the plastic wrap. I should have probably grabbed one that's
super fresh. Yeah.
I like the fresh. Yeah,
sealed for freshness. Yeah.
We got everything on the side there and the back. Choose your character, kind of a thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
CD art is a lost art in this day and age. So good on you for keeping that up. Oh man.
Honestly, maybe it's because it's very nostalgic for me. I actually take a lot of pleasure out of designing these kinds of things, just because it's fun for me. You know, it just kind of takes me back to buying CDs as a middle schooler, high schooler kind of a thing. And you know, you can see it's a lot like buying a video game too. Back then, you can only see the outside of it, and then you can't open it, and then you have to. Yeah, a couple screenshots of the gameplay, and then you're like, maybe this will be a good purchase. You
I
know,
just picture like you've got like a little image of like the sound wave for like a clip of a song or something like that. You're like, what do you put on there? Oh man, it looks like this when you put it in a spectrometer. I don't know.
yeah, you open it up and then you can kind of see like the booklet and the smell of it and all that. Yeah, so now I have to.
That is
That's the
nostalgic.
boxing. Oh,
Wow.
it's fun giving this to like Gen Z or younger. They're like, how do I open this?
Oh man.
Okay,
Yeah.
so so we have even the CD art.
Oh, that's great. Oh, look at that. Oh wow. Oh, you're inside the Chrono Trigger warp
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
Yeah.
We changed the colors and stuff so that it's not all like. But yeah, we're
Legally
getting stuff in.
distinct warp
Yeah.
zone. I don't
So it's
know.
all little icons from the different games we cover, and then we have like a track listing and who did what and whatever.
Premium
yeah.
product. Very nice.
Yeah.
I heard that CDs are going to be making a comeback, and the reason for that is because there are people who are going to be engineering it to hold petabytes, which are like thousands of terabytes, basically using like more depth in a CD so that you can store more data and at a finer resolution. And because data centers are just becoming these massive energy consuming and space consuming things where it's like, well, if you could store all of that data on a CD, remember CDs? You guys are ahead of the wave on that one.
We're already there.
There you go. Hey kids,
That's
remember
funny.
CDs? No, because you weren't born before 2019. I don't know. Bluetooth Discman. Oh man, Brian Stewart is ready. Okay, well he's probably going to be your first West Coast customer. If I know anything about Brian Stewart, oh my god.
We also have coasters.
Oh, I forgot about those.
Oh, those are sweet.
I don't know what that thing is on there, but
The QR code.
QR code that takes you to the DistroKid.
no, I mean the design.
That's
Oh.
an NES cartridge.
Oh, an NES cartridge. What's a cartridge?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we all know
Wow.
the
Wow.
cartridge.
Reese is fucking with us, everybody.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. I like to be joshed around a little bit. Oh god. All right, folks. Yeah, there are just 3 more songs on this delicious album that we've been enjoying here. And they are a little more ambiguous, at least to me, the first 2 tracks on this listening block. We're going to be listening to Only a Plank, The Extreme, and Tetris. Of course, we know Tetris. And that is clearly your guys' encore, I'm sure, at all of your convention shows and stuff. But maybe you can, before we dig in here, explain Only a Plank and The Extreme. What the heck are we in for?
Oh, I think these are like our heaviest tracks. Yeah, and the names are always kind of fun. The full name for Only a Plank is Only a Plank Between One and Perdition. That's its full name. Yeah.
That would be terrible SEO, but
So we typically in slang we say Only a Plank, but its full name is Only a Plank Between One and Perdition. Yeah.
I believe it is the battle theme that plays when you fight Ultima in Final Fantasy VIII.
That's the extreme.
Oh, that's
it.
That's
Oh,
the
okay,
extreme.
okay.
So Final
My bad.
Fantasy VIII was the first Final Fantasy I never finished. The moment I put in the 4th
And I
disc,
did.
I was like, I don't want to play this anymore. So I never saw the extreme in that game because I never beat the game. That's the final boss theme.
Okay. Only a Plank is just like a regular battle theme then, right?
Only a Plank is in a specific stage of the Final Fantasy VIII game where you get like you're thrown in prison. It's very vague. This is right when the 3rd disc ends and you go into the 4th disc.
Okay.
So that's how I know this.
Yeah. You're like in a desert prison.
You're in a desert, like a giant tower.
I
And
remember.
part of the game is you have to go up these stairs
That's
that look
right.
the same for what felt like 20 minutes.
That's right.
And the song that plays through the walking, and in Final Fantasy games, usually you have the walking, and then you go, psh, psh, and then you go, you go into like a battle theme, right?
Yeah.
Right? No, the whole time you're just listening to the theme of Only a Plank, and it's just punishing. And I think that experience of going up the tower, listening to Only a Plank Between One and Perdition for 20 minutes, made me not want to continue into disc 4 and figure out the extreme.
We should have made our version 20 minutes long.
Well, maybe live we will. Maybe live we will.
Just troll your audience. Hey, here's your favorite.
Right.
Your favorite moment of Final Fantasy VIII, folks. Let me hear it.
So one other little factoid about that too is Final Fantasy VIII was the first Final Fantasy where they actually had English names for the releases. Final Fantasy VII before were all Japanese names. So sometimes that's why we have like translations for the boss theme for Final Fantasy VII as Fight On, or Those Who Fight Further, or For Those Who Fight Further.
Oh, I thought you meant the character names.
No, those are all, well, Aerith versus Aeris versus, I don't know.
Is it Safer or Cypher in Final Fantasy VIII? Remember that guy?
Cypher, I would say.
I always said Cypher.
Final Fantasy VIII, the guy with the cut squall.
Yeah, his rival.
Yeah. So anyway, that's the lore behind those. So Only a Plank in the Extreme are like our heaviest tunes in different flavors of heaviness.
All right. Do you want to talk in equal length about the lore of Tetris, or?
No, but Tetris, originally is actually an old school Russian song called like Korobinki or whatever, and I don't know that. I know it as the game. Hey, can you grab that over there? No, just grab that thing in the black on the left. Oh yeah. It's the only Game Boy game I really ever played, and sometimes I still crack this thing open. And
oh wow,
we brought this to a convention the other day. Like maybe Comic-Con.
That Atomic Purple, man. Oh.
So you're going to hear the OST in just a moment. This is how I was delivered this relic of old Russian.
Oh, man. You better move that piece. It's not going to a prime location.
Yeah, it's everybody's OCD. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Oh, it's so slow. Oh no. All right, folks.
That's all those other songs play. Yeah.
Oh my God, Brian, that is ridiculous. I just found my grandpa's old Game Boy.
Hear it. You know what this is? No, the dad's like, that's a Game Boy. We give it to the kid. I go, okay, I just bought this in Japan for like $200. You're gonna play this game while we play your game. And that was our
there you go. There's the interactive experience that your band is going for. Absolutely. Just hand the Game Boy to the kid who doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah, and it's like, I don't even know how to start it.
Oh, my God. All right, folks. Well, I know how to start this next listening section. Folks, let's
listen.
Hey!
Hey!
Oh my God, that's it, folks. That is press start. We have pressed start, and now we are pressing end.
We are now unplugging. Jeez.
Oh man, but yeah, some lovely covers of Final Fantasy VIII there. Really got the vibe. Yeah, definitely getting very heavy with those ones. And then Tetris is just kind of like a nice little nightcap, just like, oh, I just want something familiar to swish around in my mouth before I soothe myself to sleep. Yeah, that definitely feels like your encore at the shows and stuff like that. I'm sure it's a big hit to close your set with something like that.
It's fun. Even if people don't know it, it's just fun,
Yeah. People can dance to it, not like the what was the one that was in like 6-4? Oh my
Yeah,
God.
Metroid Prime, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the people just kind of like, okay, I'm going to go to the bar now.
Oh my God. Yeah, excellent performances all around. We got to hear Reika. Absolutely.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. And of course, we hope to hear more from both of you on the next console album, whatever and whenever that may be.
It's a goal. It's definitely a goal. I'm not setting any dates. I'm still
Smart man.
still relaxing after the release. It's been out for like 2 weeks now, and of course, I'm excited about new material and getting them recorded and moving forward, because this has been a long 7 years or so of the same tunes. But yeah, so it's exciting, and eventually, we'll probably be doing singles, in the future. But I would love to do another album quickly, but we'll see. Time will tell. We'll just keep rocking in the meantime,
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, big plans are coming. You've got in a couple of weeks. You've got your appearance at KawaiiCon, and then Mag West is secured for September. Anything else coming up in the meantime for you guys?
Hawaii?
Oh yeah, so we got some inter-island conventions that we'll be flying over to. So this is more relevant for people in Hawaii, but yeah, we'll be flying over to my home island of Kauai. We'll be flying there and doing a show there. So we're trying to like cherry pick these conventions, drop in and hopefully blow people's minds. And in the intermediary, we play at these underground shows here, and people are, first band is, Death Pig, and they're like, and then we show up and we do our thing, and
this is Final Fantasy VIII.
And we turn some heads. We turn a lot of heads. Some of them turning our way, and some of them turning the other way. But it's all for the fun of it, and just try to stay active and keep the band together, keep playing, and do events like this. Thanks for having us on the show, Josh.
Thank you, Josh.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah, super happy to have you guys on. Yeah, and no pressure if it complicates your tech, but yeah, would love to get you guys performing with the current formation sometime on bonus stage as well.
Let's make that happen sometime.
Yeah, even if it was just the acoustic. Actually, almost especially if it were the acoustic.
Yeah, that's fresh for your platform. You've never seen us do that. I think it'd be fun, pretty novel.
Yeah, that would be exciting. Any other shout outs for the album or band members or anything else that you'd like to make before we close things off here?
Just thank you, Eric, for working with me with this through the years. Thank you, Andrew, for drumming originally. Thank you, Cullen, for sending me a YouTube message. Thank you, Gabe, for being a drummer for a brief stint. Thank you, Reika, for joining us. Thank you, Reese, for joining us. Thank you, Mikey, for playing bass with us for a little while. Thank you, Andrew, for playing bass with us for a little while. I know I'm forgetting people. Of course, thank you, Sean. Thank you, Proto Man Sam. And whoever else, you know who you are. You know I'm a grateful person. I don't have any other shout-outs. There's no plugs. Just thanks for your attention and time. And if you think it's a good record, tell your friends.
Tell your friends. Send them over to this link that is in chat there. It's available on all streaming platforms. And you should definitely go and check it out and get those streams, just like put your computer on to loop their album and then just like turn off the monitor and go to sleep. I don't.
We need you to, you know, mine bitcoins,
There you
just
go.
but not mine bitcoins. It's
right.
mine streams.
Oh man. And in terms of what's going on here, folks, on bonus stage next week, it's just announced on our social media, but we're going to be having another listening party next Thursday, same time, same place, for our Canadian friend James at Epic Game Music. He's released a lo-fi snowboard kids album, which is very unique and cool, and I cannot wait to hear what that sounds like. And generally, we'll be over at VGM Con in April. Our next virtual concert will happen during that. I think we're going to try and get Ultra Combo. I was talking about some folks down in the San Jose Bay Area who do like some regular jazz jams on video game standards and stuff, and we are going to do our best to stream them for their next appearance the first Sunday of April. But all those details and more will be available at bonusstage.ca or on our social media, folks, so please head on over there if you'd like to stay up to date on everything we're doing. Otherwise, I've been Josh, this has been Console, and thank you for coming out to Let's Listen tonight, folks. We hope you have a good one. We'll probably raid out to Mooman. He's got some trivia going on tonight, but otherwise, we'll see you next time. Take care.
See ya. Thank you.